Congress. President Trump is saying the U.S. will run the country of Venezuela and its oil reserves in the meantime.
Andrew, do you consider yourself to be African American?
There's times. I'm like the day walker. I swap in and out. It depends.
People were voting for the Democratic Party because they had taken on the characteristics of their masters.
What it do? Welcome back to another episode of BUA. I'm your host, Heru Adamu. Here we talk politics, love, war, business, and everything in between. Tonight we're going global, from Venezuela to Nigeria, from civil rights to mythology and artificial intelligence, from identity confusion to cultural currency. It isn't just entertainment, it's orientation. Jasmine Crockett sat down with The View to speak on President Maduro's kidnapping and the destabilization of Venezuela's government.
So over the weekend, the Trump administration forcefully captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife from Venezuela without notifying Congress. President Trump is saying the U.S. will run the country of Venezuela and its oil reserves in the meantime. How do you see this playing out? What's next?
I mean, we've seen this play out before. I guess this is one of the reasons that some people don't want us to know history, is so that we are doomed to repeat it, and seemingly that is what we are doing. Here's the problem. The biggest problem that I have is that it was illegal. Everything that this administration does is illegal, and so I don't know how you take the moral high ground when you are actually executing something in an unconstitutional way in the first place. Right. And so if you had what you needed, which he truly believes that, I guess, then you just would have went to Congress and gotten us involved. But instead, you know, we're hearing leaks and reports that he talked to oil folk, but he didn't talk to Congress.
Right.
What kind of sense does that make? Because the last time I checked, whether or not you control an oil company does not entitle you to deciding whether or not the United States goes in. And when you look at the press conference that he held, he didn't talk about democracy. Now, I know there are a lot of people that are talking about this is good for the Venezuelan people because Maduro was a bad guy, but that's not why he did it. He has not cared about Venezuelans at all. Let me be clear about that part.
That's true.
And here's the receipts. The Enemy Aliens Act, which most of us had never heard of because it's from the 1700s, he invoked it specifically because of Venezuelans. He said, we are being attacked and invaded by Venezuelans. That was number one. Then the next thing that you know, CCOT, that's where he was sending Venezuelans. Remember the 60-minute episode that they did not want to air about how they were treating them, mistreating them at CCOT? That's where he sent Venezuelans. Then after that, he was illegally killing folk, saying that, oh, well, they're bringing drugs because it was supposedly about fentanyl, which is not where we get fentanyl,
No, it isn't.
to be clear. So then he killed over 100 people with these bombs that he was dropping. And then when he went in to get Maduro, he killed even more Venezuelans. This ain't about Venezuelans. I get that there are people that don't like the leader. But guess what? There are a lot of people that don't like our leader.
So you're just switching out one oppressor for the other. I mean, this isn't the first time that America has taken control of another country's regime or tried to regime change a country. It happened in Iraq, happened in Iran. I believe it's happened in Haiti. This is not the first time America has done a coup and replaced a regime in a country where they want to have power. I mean, let's just be honest. It's all about the resources. I think everybody knows that by now. And it's crazy, there's still people out there that still believe that the government is right and they're doing the best thing, and you have all these Venezuelans like celebrating that maybe this guy was a bad guy and they didn't want him to be the president. But at the end of the day, they don't have access to corruption, so they're gonna be under the thumb of somebody else that's probably even worse. People advocate for shit that's even worse for them. So this is what's going on, and at the same time, we're seeing bombings in Nigeria and coordinated pressure against the Alliance of Sahel, which is like Burkina Faso and Niger, different countries in Africa. So there's been a bunch of attacks from America on powers all around the world, and non-white powers, by the way. So what happens when global black and non-Western leadership resist alignment with Western powers is the question. And Western power is just another word for white supremacist power. So it's never really, and I'm not saying that white people never fought each other in the past, because they have. I mean, of course, before they, conquered the world, they used to fight with each other a lot. They're the most violent humans known to man. So it's no surprise to see them trying to attack a smaller power. Like you see Russia getting into Ukraine. You never see China and America go directly at it. You never see any world powers go directly at it. You always see them go for weaker countries. And I believe one of those tanks that was bombed or seized by America was an oil tank headed to China. And I believe China spoke out about that. And there's a bunch of countries that are against Western power, that are against what America did, because obviously it's illegal for Trump to go in and kidnap another country's president without even, like Jasmine said, checking in with Congress. So at this point, all of our world leaders are all criminals. But what does that mean for black people in America? I don't think they really care. I don't think Latino people care. I reached out to my Latino community about this. They were like, well, I mean, I don't know. They don't really care, because you know why? Because they benefit from this. They work at Chevron. They work at Halliburton. They work at these companies that actually benefit from the corruption of USA. You're just getting to see it firsthand nowadays, because media is not as controlled as it used to be by America. So we're getting to see how corrupt the Western power is. And, a lot of people are saying they want Trump to get kidnapped next, but I don't think that's what they want either. This isn't chaos, it's strategy. And if we don't understand the board, we'll always be the pieces. Everett Ellison sat down with Tucker Carlson and made a statement that shook a lot of people up. Civil rights movement, it wasn't about liberation, it was about containment.
No one under 50 has even come into contact with a world like the one you're describing.
History's going to tell them we were fighting, we were hating one another, there was racial strife, the white people were treating us like we was dogs, we couldn't do anything, the government had to come in and save us, all of that. And all of that is a lie. All of it is a lie. We saw people live and die based on their merit. Some people did very, very well, some people did not. And race really didn't have anything to do with it at all.
And this, you're talking about your life that you lived. You saw this with your own eyes.
Yes, and right now it's the same thing now. You know about my family intimately, and you see how successful we've been. And as I tell people all the time,
I'm not going to let the secret out, but yes, I do.
Yes.
I am familiar with your family.
Exactly.
That is true. You're not exaggerating.
No. And as I tell people all the time, you don't get much blacker than me, okay? It ain't like you can walk past and mistake this house for a white man, right? And so it's obvious that I'm black. So they don't care? I'm black, and what? What are you gonna judge? I ain't gonna walk around some racist and say, please, boss, don't judge about the color of my skin. No, if you don't like me, that's your problem. You put your hands on me, you'll have another problem. I'm gonna love you. I've been ordered by Christ to do so. I'm going to love you. I'm going to treat you right. I'm not going to cheat you. I'm not going to lie on you. I'm not going to do anything. But it ends with blatant disrespect or with you trying to harm me. And most men understand that.
Yes.
And because of that, it never happens. Never. I travel all over this country. I meet nothing but nice people.
Me too.
I can't remember the last time I met a bad person. I'm literally sitting here trying to think, and I cannot think of it. The last time I met a person that was just mean to me. I can't come up with it. I really cannot.
That's not the America that Joe Biden describes.
Yeah, and it's something, I don't know where that, well, he's around Democrats, so they probably that way. But the rank and file American that I run into every day, and again, like you, I travel a lot. And I run into people, and I know people really know you. They see you, Tucker Carlson, right? And they come up there, and I bet they're nice. Hey, Tucker, hey, man.
They are nice, actually. Yeah.
And so they want us to hate one another. They want us to look at one another and like Iago and Othello whispering in your ear, whispering in your ear. He's your enemy. You watch him. He's your enemy. You watch him. You watch him. Dude ain't done nothing to you. But, they whisper in your ear. He's out to get you, man. You need to watch him now. And when that's planted, paranoia sets in. And you have black people that are isolated in ghettos, right? Isolated.
Yes.
That never come out. And they've been fed this lie by the black preacher, the black politician, the black civil rights organizer. And they won't if you want to talk about segregation, you try to integrate one of those majority black districts and try to bring a patch of white people in there and see how they're going to fight you. I mean, if you want to bring black people, I mean, you want to make them mad, bring in a Trader Joe's, right? Or Whole Foods. You're going to bring white people in here. Oh, get them things out of here. Oh, man, they'll try to burn it down. They don't want white people in those areas because you're bringing alien ideas to the locals. No, they want to keep white America out of those black areas. They call it gentrification. It's just a fancy word saying keep white folks out.
And why do they want that? Because
they want control. Ralph Abernathy wrote in his book, And the Walls Came Tumbling Down, in the 1980 election, he went to them and said, look, guys, welfare is destroying the black family. It's destroying it. We've got three generations of black people on welfare. We need to start doing something to get them off. And he wrote this in his book. I never will forget it. He said, he said something curious happened. It pleased them to see 3 generations of black families on welfare because it gave them control. And that's when he endorsed Ronald Reagan for president.
Ralph Abernathy endorsed Reagan?
In 1980. Mm-hmm.
How did I not know that?
Yeah, and that's why he did it. Because he said that the black caucus was trapping black people into this welfare trap. And you remember when they did the welfare bill with Bill Clinton, how the black caucus fought against it, and they never voted for it, ever. They want to keep these people exactly where they are. That's where their power comes from. It has always been one of these attributes of black leadership that's very different than any other leadership in America. Jewish leadership, Asian leadership, and the people in the Indian community, they look out for the benefit of their people, their trustees. Black leadership has always been a sellout leadership that came from the plantation system and the house Negro system. So when black people in the South finally got the right to do anything, they would go with their old slave masters, and the slave masters had their outside children, their mulatto children, and they would put them in the power of the black community, and they would give them the money to set up shop, to have money to run for office, and it was always this interconnection between them and the class of black people and the lower class black people that were under their control. And it's that way still today. The preacher, the civic organizers, and the politicians, they're all part of this little iron triangle where the rich white liberals in the Democratic Party give them money and they control the black community. And the Democratic Party is an apostate evil organization. It is the evilest organization in the history of the world. Nothing ever comes close. The Nazis were here for about maybe 20 years. The Democrats have been here for 220. And they were the party of slavery from 1800 to 1860, the party of the Confederacy from 1860 to 1865, the party of Jim Crow from 1865 to 1965, wholesale murder, rape, torture, castration. They did it, all for power. The Civil Rights Movement was necessitated behind the atrocities of the Democrat Party down South. And none of them voted for any of the civil rights legislation, maybe about 1 or 2 of them. And do you think that after it passed, that they changed on a dime? Every senator that voted, every Democrat senator down South that voted against the civil rights legislations of the 60s remained in office. They never got beat. Whether it was Lester Maddox, whether it was Eastman, whether it was Stennis, all of them kept their power. And a lot of them started keeping their power with the black vote. Because through Stockholm Syndrome, black people were voting for the Democratic Party because they had taken on the characteristics of their master.
I think he's more, this is actually my first time ever listening to him. He's more on the far right side. And you have a lot of successful blacks that get to that point where, I mean, they just, I think what's been going on a lot lately is what they call black fatigue. And for me, I thought black fatigue was more so black people being tired of other black people being so black that other people identify us as a group as those characteristics or stereotypes, such as like being loud. You go into a restaurant and you see some black women in a nice restaurant being real loud. For me, I thought black fatigue was like getting tired of that because it's a representation of the entire group that's not necessarily true, or being late, or any of the other stereotypes. I think stereotypes are valid. I just think that people get tired of them. But the narrative of black fatigue has been changed around just like everything else has been. Woke culture, all of these words that come from the black culture, like being woke is like being conscious. They didn't took that and turned it into like some other stuff. I don't even know what woke culture is these days. Even like black fatigue, I thought it was one thing. I'm looking online, it looks like white people are commenting like, man, I get black fatigue, and I'm just like, what's going on? So that's where the confusion is, and it ties into what Everett is saying, is where you have like so many blacks that think they're American. We get confused as to our standpoint and our identification as well. So yes, you have a lot of black leaders that are tied in with white people who control resources. So of course they want to be the head nigger in charge, basically. You know, it happens even worse, like in Africa, where you have one black leader that is only in position not because of skills or value and working hard, but because of their bloodline. They make a deal with a foreigner and they don't break bread with any of the people of the land. They take all the wealth, and then this foreigner is able to leverage all of the resources of the land. So it's the same thing with this civil rights movement. All of the politicians that voted against civil rights were probably having the same mindset as the black people that were the head niggers in charge. I mean, why would I want black people to be free and segregated when I have position of power with white people? From my small time of listening to this guy, and he's sitting down with Tucker Carlson, which is a political statement as well, it sounds as though he still wants to be the head nigger in charge, and he doesn't see racism as being real. I could quickly tell like a far right person whenever they start saying that racism doesn't exist. I mean, it doesn't exist for black people. It doesn't exist for white people, and it doesn't exist for people that control resources, but it exists for black people, of course, because racism is really control of access to resources, not prejudice, like not liking people or not wanting to go to school with them. It's the fact that we do go to the same school and I graduate with the same degree, but it's going to be harder for me to get the job. One, because the HR manager doesn't look like me, identify with me, and the media is controlled by white supremacists / Jews, people that don't look like me. So I got to sit down with an HR manager that's been educated and indoctrinated and been watching media of things that are not controlled by people like me. And I have to try to get on, and the boss also doesn't look like me. So it makes it harder. That's what real racism is. That's what white privilege is. It's not white privilege is people get privileged white confused with white privilege. White people are like, well, there's no white privilege because I'm struggling too, and I had to work, and I had to. It's like, yeah, we're not saying that there's not any poor whites. What we're saying is that being white doesn't make it harder for you to succeed at the end of the day. Being black means you're playing the video game on hard mode. That's what white privilege is. It doesn't mean there's not going to be any poor, lazy ass whites. You know what I mean? That's up to you. So tying in back to what he's saying, yeah, he's successful. And if you have a certain mindset in this country and you are high functioning and intelligent, of course you're going to understand the stereotypes. When a police officer pulls you over as a black man, you put your hands outside the window, let them know you don't have a weapon. Be extra cautious in this situation, knowing the game that you're in. And some people don't want to play that game. He still wants to play the game where you are nice to everybody. Yeah, if you be nice to other cultures and be respectful and do extra, go outside your way, be extra excellent, yeah, you will get treated fairly in this country. Actually, you will get opportunity. You'll have like black privilege. There's actually privileges black people do have, that they haven't tapped into because they're so focused on reparations and getting stuff like getting free stuff and welfare, and they have their hands out or feeling like they got robbed or did bad in the past, which they have, but they can tap into their black privilege as well. And also socially by, reverse engineering how people think about them by being extra nice, extra smart, extra talented. And, it's very hard for like excellent blacks or elite blacks to understand degenerate blacks because they disconnected from degenerate blacks so much in their mentality and socially, because we're social animals, that they can no longer, and they get fatigue of their own culture still, subscribing to those type of lifestyles and mentalities that has basically severed ties between the elite or bourgeoisie black class and the degenerate black class. So I put him in the bourgeoisie elite black class, And for him, like Lil Wayne said one time, I never experienced racism. I got a lot of white fans and things of that nature. Just because you have a lot of white fans and you haven't experienced racism doesn't mean that black people that look like you have a fair and equal opportunity at being liberated or having a job or making money or getting a bank loan or being able to have access to resources. Just because you, Lil Wayne or whoever or whatever elite bourgeoisie black had an opportunity doesn't mean that your community is going to have those opportunities. Like Deion Sanders is like, well, I made it, so I should be enough inspiration to my community. No, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything that they let one black person make it, because that means nothing for your community, and you're nothing without your community, because without the community, you wouldn't even be where you're at. So you got to consider these things. So freedom doesn't come from access. It comes from control. Andrew Tate says racism doesn't exist, only stereotypes. But what happens when someone is mixed race, culturally displaced, and potentially aligned with the far right, trying to explain race without even resolving their own identity? Let's take a look at what Tate had to say.
They all look the fucking same. They're pulling out machetes. Look at the Rwandan genocide. I couldn't even tell the two teams. They're running around fucking swinging blades. Bro, the whole world's fucking
them
racist.
Niggas killing each other over nothing.
Over nothing. Hutu, your nose shape.
They
I don't know
got
the
this
fuck.
huge continent. You got all these black people. You got all these resources.
All they do is kill.
And they're probably the poorest continent in the world.
Of course.
They have no leadership, and that culture is just broken.
100%. And also, it's because Africa's rich that it's poor, which we'll talk about in a second. But America's the least racist place you find on the planet. You think China isn't racist? You think Japan's not fucking racist? You think India's not racist with its caste system? You think Africa's not racist with its fucking genocides?
Right.
Everywhere, even when I moved to England, the amount of racism I dealt with for being American. Like, I was American, they're like, oh, yank, oh, dickhead, school shooter. But it's like, watch out. But the thing is, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But these people can't take a fucking joke.
Right.
Like, I love when people, I have the most diverse friend group, and our friendships are based on racism. Like, it's funny. It's funny. Like, I know a white guy who's loyal.
Right.
Fucking weird. But, like, we make fun of each other all the time. Like, racism is hilarious amongst a friend group.
Right.
But in America, everyone's so sensitive to it. It's insane, and they believe they live in a racist country. It's like, you need to go basically anywhere else. Go anywhere else, and you will see. And what's interesting is actually the countries like Dubai, which I spent a lot of time in, the UAE, which is a super diverse country with 80% immigration. But the locals, the natives, they're above you. You can't fuck with a Gulf Arab in UAE. You can come and you can visit and you can buy a nice house and you can live there and you can enjoy Dubai. But if you crash your car into an Arab, it was your fault.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Like, there's no way out of it, right? So the whole world's fucking racist except America. And these people are constantly and endlessly crying. It's like so ungrateful almost.
Well,
It's ungrateful.
I think most of that comes from the black community, though. I think that's what's keeping racism alive in this country. Yeah, and it's the white liberals pushing it too. It's on life support. Yeah.
Well, I think everyone's tired of it now, but they're going to keep trying to push it because it allows them to feel important for 5 seconds. So they're going to keep trying to push it.
Andrew, do you consider yourself to be African American?
Well, there's times. I'm like the day walker. I swap in and out. It depends.
Right.
You know. Like I had an auntie. She's black and she talks like a white woman until she gets mad. Then she's Jamaican. Yeah. You ever had one of them?
Yeah, definitely.
That's like me. Depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm white. Sometimes I'm black. Depends what mood I'm in. But no, it's really interesting. And also, pattern recognition isn't racism. We need to make that very clear. Like if I think of a pedophile, I imagine a white man.
Yeah. Right.
And if I think of gang shooting, I imagine a black man. Call me racist, but that's just what I imagine, right?
When I think of tacos, I think of Latinos.
Well, that's right. Yeah, 100%. Build the wall. So we got enough tacos. It's fine. We don't need any more. So
if I walk into a restaurant, a Latino restaurant, and I see a bunch of Asians making tacos, I'm walking right out.
100%. So racial stereotypes also exist for a reason, but now we're going to try and tell us that we have to ignore basic pattern recognition or it's racism. And this is the point that's difficult because I'll be completely honest with you. If I was Snow White and I was a police officer and I was in inner Chicago and it's 4 a.m. and I've stopped a Toyota Camry and there's 4 black guys in it. And my partner got killed 2 years ago because of a Toyota Camry with 4 black guys in it. And they're not complying. I'll be trigger happy. Now, to pretend he's not, that's pattern recognition.
Yeah, right.
So Tate has a very interesting take on pattern recognition and stereotypes within different communities. The only thing that he's missing is that black people don't control resources, laws, or anything like that, any of the major institutions. So they really can't control the pattern recognition or what people identify as stereotypes. That's the difference. You know, they can make hip hop music, but they don't control or distribute the music. So somebody like Andrew Tate, he's a mixed race kid. He's black and white. Obviously, you could tell he has identity. He has a mixed race identity conflict where, like he said, sometimes I'm white, sometimes I'm black. That's what a lot of mixed kids do. They want to be white when it's convenient, then they want to be black when it seems cool. So the thing that he's missing is that, yes, there's racism all around the world, and that racism is against black people. I mean, even darker skinned people are discriminated against in countries that are all black. But if we were in an all black nation, right, like Nigeria, or maybe a Western country in Africa, there's still racism towards the darker skinned people, and there's racism amongst tribes and who has access to resources. So he lives in a world where he thinks that if the world was all black, that American blacks wouldn't complain about leadership or corruption, when that's not true. It just happens to be white people in this current moment. So by talking about black history, by default, I have to talk about white people. It's not that I want to talk about white people or I want to talk about racism. It's by default, I have to talk about these people. If I was in an all black nation and the leader was corrupt, I'd be talking about that. It might not come down to race, but it would come down to the corruption. In this instance, they've used racism because, remember, race is made up by white supremacy to control resources. They brought up racism to control resources. Therefore, by default, I have to deal with the racism. This is the problem when you have mixed race children. They want to be black their whole life when they're kids, and then when they get older to the real world, you know, they realize, oh, it's easier for me to be white or whatever other race that I am because black people don't have access to resources. Let's not forget, it's about survival. It's not about racism. So when he's saying, I see 4 black guys in a Honda Civic pulling up and I get afraid too. When I see a black dude with a black hoodie on, I'm conscious, I'm aware of that too. They think that we see each other and we feel fine too. We also feel that fear as well because that's the type of stereotypes that have been perpetuated to us through media that we don't control. That's the big thing that Tate is missing, is that white people control the media and they control how people think and how they move and think about black people. So when you don't understand power, you start defending it. Justin Burns joins us to talk about how black creators and entrepreneurs can use AI to build tech that scales, sells, and creates leverage.
And so just to clarify, right, because I want my people to understand this, right, just to clarify, you're telling me that right now there's somebody watching who might work a 9-to-5, who might be an entrepreneur, and they have this idea in their head that they want to create an app for. I remember the last time I was scouting app developers, they were charging me between $30,000 to $60,000 to develop this app, which I won't say what it is since you're telling me I could do it myself. So I'm actually gonna go to work and do it. But you're saying that so instead of paying that $30,000 to $60,000, somebody right now who has an idea that they can go to an AI app or they go to this tool, work.com, and they're able to create they take their idea, put it in this system, it creates an app that they could upload to Google Play, Apple, and charge and start making money off of it.
Start making money.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can spend.
How long? So it's going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks for the development?
You could be up in a few days, depending on. The great thing about this, let's go through the process.
Yeah.
Right. So how can anybody basically take an idea, turn it into a web app or a mobile app? Right. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is that you obviously got to have a problem to solve. Right. Mm-hmm. We know that's the simplicity. Mm-hmm. However, here's what I tell people, Ash. Everybody want to have this grand new idea. Mm-hmm. The fastest way to fail is having a new idea that hasn't been proven yet, right? Because we've been misconstrued. I need a new, unique idea. No, you don't. if somebody, there's tech companies out there that are raising $200, $500 million, right? $50 million, right? Or whatever. Like there's some tech companies that raise a lot of money.
Yeah.
So there are companies out there that already have a model. They already are proven to make money, right? So why are you going reinventing the wheel? Now here's the thing that tech companies can't do. They can't do everything right. So what you need to do, right, is you have an idea, you could put your spin on it. Like you can put any type of spin on it, but here's what a lot of people don't understand. There's people in the marketplace, let's say if you have, let's just say a health app, like we're talking about that, right? They could be undercharging. They could be overcharging. There's a market. There's literally a software right now that I sign up for. It's an analytics software, so it tracks, you know, all of your traffic and your web traffic. Well, I always tell the founder, I'm like, your cheapest price is $399 a month, something like that. I was like, there's an opportunity for somebody to go in and charge $100 a month. So pricing, you can literally go into, number one, like have an idea, something out there, and you go to Product Hunt, it's producthunt.com. So go right to Product Hunt, right? Producthunt.com, list all of the apps that are making money, okay? In different categories, productivity, you know, business, product, whatever it is, you can go right there and see all the new releases every day. So the first thing is you need a good idea that people will pay for, not something, now you can create something unique, that's just gonna take you a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to talk to customers, but the fastest path to the cash, as I like to tell people, is go to Product Hunt, look at some things that are releasing, people are rating them, it already tells you what you need to know. You take the concept, and then what you do, number two, is you go to ideation evaluation. Number two, you go to ideation evaluation. So ideation evaluation is, okay, let me look at this, and here's the couple criteria that you can do. You could do this in one day. You go and you say, what are they charging too much? You want to look at the reviews. So you can look, and this is in the Apple, this data is available. You don't have to guess. You don't have to do any of those things. You go right to the reviews. You can go to Amazon. You can go right to the Apple Store, and people will tell you what they like about the app and what they don't like about the app. Oh, this is too much. This is pricey. I wish it had this. So the first thing you want to do is say, most of the time, either the pricing is bad, number one. Number two, usually this is 90% of the cases of apps that I build, the UX is horrible, meaning the design is absolutely horrific. The user experience is absolutely horrific. If you go, I would venture to say it's 90-something% of them joints are bad. Right? Either the website is horrible, the back end is horrible. So you can win just from having that. If you just have the user experience in mind, you can win with that, right? And then the other one is features. Most like technology companies can't do all three of those things right, right? They can't get the features right. So what features are missing? Then you can literally go and you create what we call a product spec sheet. This is, what do you want everything in your app to do, right? I want it to do this. I want it to do that. Here's what I want it to do. And you be real specific about that thing. Then after that, you go right to Rourke, you go to Lovable, or you go to Bolt. Bolt is one of my other favorite.
And Bolt, spell that for me?
Bolt.dev, B-O-L-T. So you go right to Bolt, right? Or you go to Lovable, but I like Bolt as well. And then you go to Rourke, RORK.com, and you put that prompt right into it, okay? And right there, you could build something in less than a day. The first thing, though, what people don't do is you want to build your site first, right? So what I typically do is I take that, right? I take that, and so people say, like, this is even the gym. Let me give y'all some. I want y'all to really, because there's so much opportunity. Here's what I tell you how you get something that you don't have to keep prompting, because the biggest issue with tech is prompting. Right? So you could put a paragraph, I wanted to do this, but that ain't gonna really do it. Let me tell you how you win. Here's what you do. Let's say you're using something like Lovable. This is why people don't use Lovable properly. Here's what you do. When you have an idea, you go to the tutorial section and you copy all of their documents. Okay, you don't have to, like, here's what people don't do. You download all of their, not download but one by one, you just copy and paste. You throw it right into Lovable, into the instruction section. Now it knows exactly how the platform of Lovable works from A to Z. Because it's trying to figure out what are you building first. So this is how you master AI. You throw, most people don't do this, and they don't do this, which is why they don't get something, good. You copy all the documents, their help session doc, you copy and paste it. You throw it right into Lovable, into the instruction section or Claude, whatever you're using, and you say, create me a document like this that does this, based on the specifications of Rourke or Lovable. And it's gonna give you an exact spreadsheet and everything.
Wow.
Then you take that and you tell Lovable or Rourke or Bolt to create me an app that does this, 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 and this. You're gonna have something 95%. I think I saw a stat, which is what we're gonna talk about next, is that 95% of people who vibe code or go into these apps, they never launch it to make money. And the reason why they never launch it is because they never understand the specifics of how these platforms work. When you give AI the exact framework of how it works, you're gonna get something beautiful.
Wow.
So moving into 2026, AI is not going anywhere, guys. So instead of running from the problem, why don't we try to make something out of it? Every technology shift, it creates two groups, the users and the owners. So we want to be on the ownership side. Justin Burns is talking about actually learning how to prompt with your AI correctly, which is going to be very important, I think, moving forward, whether you want to be in the tech space or you just want to have any type of productivity moving forward. You need to learn how to use AI properly, how it works and how it thinks, and the actual language of AI, prompting with it properly so that it understands what you need it to do. What took millions of dollars and years to build, now you can build in a day. So things are moving so fast, it seems as though our experience with time is much different than our forefathers, as they had to wait years and spend money on things. Everything's so fast now. So if you're not with the times and moving at the pace, then you're gonna get left behind. Low capital tech creation, I think, is gonna be a good thing to focus on moving forward for Black people. We need to focus on selling systems, not labor. For so long, we've been focused on working hard, but working hard doesn't always equal results and or wealth. So let's stop working so hard and let the new technology work for us. We don't need to recreate the wheel. We just need to put ourselves in alignment with creation. Natalie Nunn and Cam Newton sat down to talk about baddies, but what they're really discussing is cultural value. Who defines it, who profits from it, and who pays the cost?
Because I don't like the fake shit. Let's just get to it. What the fuck do you want to know? Do you watch baddies? Is there anyone on baddies that you'd fuck? Or you think's cute? No, for real, I just want to know.
Yeah. I think...
Did I... Am I... Yeah, your team was like, I hear,
Yeah, they get...
Quiet on the set!
They can respond.
I asked you, do you watch baddies?
No, I do not.
Have you seen clips of baddies? What do you think baddies is?
Baddies is a women empowerment platform.
Good job. Ooh, I love Cam. He's such a sweet guy.
That teaches women to be confident.
Oh my God, you're ChatGPT. We finally get to meet Chat.
Now here's the thing. The reality of what I would...
You are sophisticated.
The reality...
he's good.
The reality of what I would sleep with is different than what I would be with. And that's the thing that...
Because men will sleep with anything.
Not anything.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Women will sleep with anything.
That's a lie. You are so... What type of woman... What kind of woman do you deal with? Women won't sleep with it. Men will sleep with anything because you guys think with your other head, which is fine.
That's cool.
I don't judge people, and I am at a point in my life... I'm at a point in my life where, see, I don't judge people. I hate smoke. No, it's okay. You can smoke. It's okay. I was kidding. I was kidding. I swear. Pink tequila in the back, Betty Blunts in the front. I smoke. It's okay. I'm not judging you. What I wanted to say, Cam, was guys will fuck anything, but who they'll be with really tells who the person is. So what I'm saying is what baddie would you sleep with if you had watched the show? You say you don't really know the show. But because I have like 19 baddies on my show, and they're the it girls in Hollywood right now. They're sweet girls. Some of them are former college basketball players. We got bad bitches on my shit, like real baddies, like educated, smart, They're all.
Is it a
They're all
prerequisite?
rich. They all getting money. So they ain't no slouches. The baddies got
Is
money.
it a prerequisite to know how to fight to be a baddie?
I don't want them to just fight, because I'm not really a fighter. Like, at heart, I'm not. It takes a lot out of me to, like, swing. When I do get, like, aggressive, or when Natalie gets to going, that's why it always makes headlines, because people are like, no way she walked into that restaurant and confront. Because I don't give that. I don't want to fight you, but I will, and I'm an athlete, and I will get in there.
That's cool.
Nah, I'm with Cam. I never seen the show Baddies anyways. I mean, I just wouldn't tap into something like that. But from the sound of it, I kind of know what it is. It's something dealing with the monetization of black dysfunction, where a bunch of girls who are not really that great looking put a lot of makeup and eyelashes on, and they make money, a lot of money, where they're fighting each other, fighting over the dumbest things in the world. You know, I just wish we can get rid of this whole word baddie. You know what I mean? Just the whole idea of it. But at the end of the day, it's men's fault anyway. So, like she said, men do fuck on anything, and that's their main problem, is that they don't have any, boundaries. So we're the ones that pay for OnlyFans, watch pornography, do all of the things that promote. But I don't think men watch that show. I think that's more so for women, just like media and television and anything else is for women to consume. You can't sell records unless you can sell records to women. So you can't sell television shows unless you can sell television to women, because women are mimic, and they're herd thinkers, they're group thinkers. So if they think that baddies are getting attention from men, which they are, they're gonna promote themselves to try to be baddies. And like Cam said, there's things that you want to be long term with, and there's things that you want to be sexual with. But these days, in the lonely epidemic that we live in, people confuse attention for community, especially women. Not to mention, women are really photogenic, and they look really, really good online, and they look really good on television. Then when you see them in real life, it'd be like, you look good, but just not as good as you did on the internet, because they're really photogenic, you know what I mean? So people are falling in love with the aesthetics. They've gotten away from any type of personality, any type of real social skills. They get social skills confused with likes. They're like, oh, I got a lot of likes, so a lot of people like me, when in reality, it's a lot of people can hate you and follow you and like your pictures. So it's a lot of weird stuff going on, and most under all of these posts, I just see a bunch of other women commenting and promoting. Like, if you see a woman pregnant with a child out of wedlock, and you go to the comment section, it's going to be nothing but a bunch of women congratulating her that she did a great job. And so the only people that promote these women like Natalie Nunn to be baddies, who are very, very average looking, that's why she's bringing up education. We play basketball. We make money. Those are things men do. Nobody wants to see a girl play basketball. She's like, we got girls on the show that play basketball. They went to college. They make money. That's stuff men do. That's not stuff that men are attracted to. That's why Cam is simply asking, like, oh, well, what does it take to be a baddie? Do I need to know how to fight? He's asking these questions because none of the things that they do on that show. And me and Cam, we ain't even seen the show. I never even seen the show, but I know what's going on the show. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of baddie activity, fighting each other, fighting over men, gossiping about nonsense. And this is what makes money. And this is, again, what I'm saying. We don't control our media. So you have these type of things being put out so they can make money. But then when black women walk in a restaurant and they be loud, other people see that shit and they're like, oh, that must be those baddies again. And they have a bad idea about that. You know, so if selling an image, if you're willing to sell an image, be willing to buy the consequences. Power doesn't announce itself. It moves quietly, strategically, and globally. And if we're going to survive, let alone win, we have to think beyond emotion, beyond trends, and beyond the narratives that are handed to us. This is BUA. I'm Hayru Adamu. I'm going to see y'all in the next one.